Orchids, they look like royalty sitting in the store, don't they? Perfect blooms, glowing colors, almost hypnotizing. You see them and instantly imagine how beautiful your home will look. So you bring one home, feeling proud of your choice, and then suddenly, everything falls apart. Within a few weeks, the flowers drop without warning. No explanation, no second chance. Just plain leaves, strange-looking roots, and a plant that feels completely useless. And just like that, it ends up in the bin. If this sounds familiar, don't worry, you're not alone. I went through the exact same frustration. In fact, I got so fed up that I completely stopped buying orchids. I thought they were a waste of money, a plant that looks good for a few days and then dies. But the reality is very different. The problem was never the orchid. The problem was not understanding how it actually works. Because once you truly understand how orchids live, what they need, and what silently damages them, everything changes. They don't just survive. They reward you with stunning blooms that last for months, every single year for many years. Today, I have a full collection of orchids, and they're thriving. So let's break this down properly and uncover what most people get completely wrong. To grow orchids successfully at home, you first need to understand their life cycle. This is the foundation. Without this, everything feels confusing. But once you get it, suddenly things like light, watering, repotting, and pruning all start to make perfect sense. The biggest mistake people make is judging orchids only by their blooming stage. In stores, orchids are always displayed in full bloom because that's what attracts buyers. But this creates a dangerous mindset. People treat orchids like cut flowers. They enjoy them for a short time and then throw them away once the blooms are gone. That is a huge mistake. The blooming phase is only one part of the orchid's life. After the flowers fall, the plant enters its growth phase, and this is actually the most important stage. This is when the orchid rests, recovers, and rebuilds its energy. It focuses on growing new leaves and developing strong roots. If you get this phase wrong, the next blooming cycle will either be weak or may not happen at all. This phase usually lasts around 5 months, making it the longest and most critical period. Once the plant has regained enough strength, it moves into the flower development stage. This is followed by bud formation, and then finally, it returns to the blooming phase again. If everything is done correctly, this blooming phase can last up to 4 months or even longer. And yes, there are specific tricks you can use to extend this period. Now let's talk about one of the most misunderstood topics, pruning orchids. When the flowers start to fade and fall off, many people panic, thinking something has gone wrong. But this is completely normal. What really matters is what you do next. If the flower spike is still green and healthy, you have 3 options. The first option is to leave it untouched and hope it produces more flowers. In reality, this rarely works. Orchids usually need some form of intervention to bloom again. The second option is to cut the spike above a node. This can sometimes encourage branching and produce new flowers, but it only works if your overall care, especially light and watering, is already correct. Otherwise, nothing happens. The third option, and the one I personally recommend, is to cut the spike completely. If the spike has turned brown and dry, you should remove it immediately from the base. But even if it is still green, cutting it off entirely can allow the plant to properly rest and recover. This leads to much stronger and more impressive blooms in the next cycle. Overpruning is something you must avoid. The more you force the plant to keep producing flowers, the weaker it becomes over time. Now let's uncover the most powerful factor in orchid care, light. During the growth phase, orchids need as much bright light as possible. This is when photosynthesis is working at full capacity and the plant is actively building energy. Placing your orchid near a bright window is essential. In cooler climates, they can even sit directly near a south-facing window and thrive. However, once the orchid starts blooming, something surprising happens. you actually need to reduce the light slightly. It sounds strange, but strong light increases the plant's metabolism, which causes the flowers to fade faster. By slightly reducing the light, you slow down this process and extend the life of the blooms. The key here is balance, not darkness, just a gentle reduction in intensity. Now let's move on to the part that confuses almost everyone: watering. Orchids do not grow in regular soil. Instead, they grow in bark or moss because in nature they attach themselves to trees rather than growing in the ground. This means water drains very quickly, and the roots can dry out faster than typical houseplants. During the growth phase, orchids need more water because they are actively growing and using energy. But overwatering is just as dangerous as underwatering. The best approach is to check before watering. Clear pots make this much easier. If you see condensation inside the pot, wait a little longer. If it looks dry, it's time to water. You can also check the roots for clear signals. Green roots mean the plant is well hydrated. Silvery roots indicate that it needs water. Brown or mushy roots are a sign of overwatering and damage. This simple system can guide you perfectly. When it comes to watering methods, most people simply pour water over the plant. While this works, it's not the most effective method. A better approach is the soak and drain method. Let the orchid sit in water for about 30 minutes so the bark and roots can fully absorb moisture, then drain it completely. This ensures proper hydration and leads to healthier growth. Even during the flowering phase, you should not neglect watering. If the plant dries out for too long, the flowers will drop quickly. Consistency is key. After about a year, you may notice that your orchid has outgrown its pot. The roots start filling the container and pushing outward. This is a clear sign that it's time to repot. The best time to do this is after the flowering phase has ended. Choose a slightly larger clear pot, as orchid roots can also photosynthesize and benefit from light. During repotting, remove any dead or mushy roots to keep the plant healthy. Good airflow around the roots is extremely important, which is why you should never use regular soil or pack the pot too tightly. Bark is usually the best option because it allows proper air circulation. There's also one final detail that most people completely overlook. The exact point where you cut the flower spike can influence the strength of future blooms. It may seem like a small detail, but it can make a big difference over time. Once you understand all of this, orchids stop feeling like difficult or mysterious plants. Instead, they become one of the most rewarding plants you can grow. And the moment you see your orchid rebloom, stronger, bigger, and more vibrant than before, you'll realize one thing very clearly: this plant was never the problem.